So here is your braking system. Front brake, rear brake. And to change the brake pads, you've got to remove these. To remove the brake discs or rotors, whatever you want to call them, they're actually on the centre diff. You have to remove the centre diff, which you can see in another video where I've explained how to remove the diffs and rebuild them. So we just concentrate on removing these pads. Now to get to these, there's 3 bolts on each side, so you've got to get down here with a driver. Now the easiest way I've found to do that is to remove the whole radio tray. 9 bolts underneath. This picture here which shows you which ones to remove. If you turn your car upside down, be careful. The fuel tank, if you've got fuel in the fuel tank, chances are you will get some that will leak out, so be very careful. Now what I've also done, I've just removed the servo linkages. I haven't removed the servo horns because at least by removing the linkages I haven't got to reset the actual points for the servos. So we've undone all those, we've done the front, 2 for the brakes and the 1 for the throttle, and the servo box just moves out. That is all your radio gear, nice and simple. The only other bit I've got to be careful of, there is a rubber bump stop there, which, so if I just put on the whole retaining bolt, that just stops that coming off. So we have got, as you can see, I don't know if you can see, there's 3 bolts on there. So I'll start from this side because it's slightly easier. So here is part of the assembly. So nothing you noticed, I dropped a washer off that one. This is an upgraded FID racing brake setup. But there you go, you get your 3 bolts. There's 3 washers on there. Now here is brake pad number 1. Actually on this, yeah, it's not too bad, it's not too worn. You've got springs top and bottom. And then we should be able to slide the brake disc over, and then we can get the other pad off. But they're not too bad. I'm actually not going to replace them, I'm just going to put them back on the car, but you can see how that works. And the front comes to bits exactly the same way. So you just undo the 3 bolts, pull off the aluminium assembly, and then remove your pads and springs. So to reassemble, what you can do, you could just rub these down with a very fine wet and dry if they've got a glaze over them. If they've got a glaze over them, then they're obviously no good, but they're okay. So to put this back on, we put the pad back on first. So it's got a curve on it which goes towards the engine. Put that on first, then we slide the brake disc back over the drive hub. Put our springs on. This is what keeps the pads separated when you're not braking. Put the other brake pad on. There we go. And the actual actuator mechanism is in there. If you actually see, don't know if we can see, but if you can see that when I move that, it actually moves the first pad. So that's what it is. You see it there. It's actually moving the first pad, and that same one works the same. So there's actually an eccentric part in the middle of there which just moves that. Don't really need to show you that. I mean, it is what it is. And then you just put on the retaining mechanism. Little fiddly, we don't want to lose any of these washers. Just do them up again. Put a little bit of thread lock on there if you're concerned about it coming undone. Make sure that's all nipped up, and then do the 3 bolts up. What I would do is just nip them up so tight, do all 3, and then tighten them up fully. So they're all done up. Just check you've got movement, you haven't locked everything up by mistake. Capture needs to go back on. Make sure you haven't locked everything up in error. That's fine. A little bit of a test. imagine this is the servo, so you turn it and you can feel it. See it locked up? That's actually locked the rear brake, so that's how you get your balance. And when you do the front, then locks the front up. So yeah, that's fine, that's all good. Now, just putting the radio gear back in, same as reverse of what we've just done. Put this back on here, get it the right way round. Connect the linkages back up, there and there, and then 9 screws underneath. So simple as that. The radio box is now back in. We've done what we want to do with the radio box. You just got to put the frame back on. Wheels are obviously off the car, but frame back on, and then it's all done. Just make sure you check your linkages are all in the right place, but that's just a basic check anyway you should do before you drive your car anyway. Make sure it doesn't run away. The throttle may be in the wrong position for some strange reason, but it should all be okay, as you haven't really played about with any of that. Hope you've liked that video. Please do like, share and subscribe, and leave a comment for anything else you'd like us to do. Thank you very much.